McPhee, your co-creation host, and we're here on the golden carpet of I Rise, I Shine. Chris and Jai will be popping in here before they go live in about 25 minutes. Think of this as kind of like the pre-show. I'm excited to hear from them, and I know you are too. So what we're watching now is called the On the Gold Carpet. And this is where we do a pre-show that gives our members and viewers the tools and practices that help a person rise higher and shine brighter. So that brings us to our visiting spiritual artist of this week, Alicia Privet. Alicia describes herself as the creator of Bright Body Harmonics, is an integrative method blending fascia science, nervous system regulation, breath work, sound healing, and embodied movement, which sounds wonderful to me. With a background in yoga therapy, body work, and holistic wellness, she helps bring women to reconnect to strength, alignment, and resilience from the inside out. Sounds like my type of friend. Probably is one of yours too. So without further ado, please welcome Alicia. Alicia, come on up.
Hi. Thank you for having me. Hey.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. I know we got to meet up last night a little bit, and so I'm happy to have you.
Same, likewise. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your modalities from your words. When we did speak last night, we spoke about how there are some ancient sciences from all these different lands. I know we all gather all these different modalities, right? And tell us about how you bring that into balance through the healing systems.
Right. Well, I started through yoga. Yoga led me to meditation, led me to Ayurveda, led me to yoga therapy training, where you combine all of that, and through a yoga therapeutic lens, you see the person as a whole, mind, body, soul, wellness. Through that, I dabbled a little bit in Chinese medicine foundations through yin yoga, which made me look at Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, and you have these old ancient medicines that bring harmony and restoration to humanity. And so we're evolving at such a fast rate. I think it's really important to say, this is for you, this is for you. Take what resonates and leave the rest. You can't just, my biggest thing is I don't like boxes. You can't be in a box. So you can pick and choose what's working for you in that season of your life and use it until it's not working anymore, and then move on to the next. So we're always changing. Change is the ever-present constant, right?
Ever growing. I mean, our constitutions are always changing in fashions, and you're always having to bring yourself back into balance with this or that or the other. I mean, I've studied Ayurveda. I haven't studied Chinese medicine, but what I do know of it is that it's all based upon qualities and elements. And so breaking it down to that micro for me is just like, I mean, you can grab anything, right? Even for spirituality, I'm a Pisces. I'm always interested in all the different spiritualities. And I'm just like always grabbing from this religion, that religion. It sounds like that's what you do.
I'm a Pisces rising, so I get it. I get it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's really, what, if you have to say like right now, what's kind of a focus for you in this moment?
So, well, we're coming out of Aries, a lot of fire, all the planets, a lot of fire, it's a lot of tension. I'm all waters, so I'm like, whew, it's hot, it's spicy.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, things are getting uncovered. What's in truth, what's not truth. For me, I'm really trying to work with grounding, embodiment, staying regulated through Aries season, but then we're moving into Taurus season. So really,
I was going to give you that groundingness right there, right?
Staying grounded, staying connected to earth. Spring in Ayurveda is Kapha. The elements of Kapha is water and earth. So we're kind of getting out with the old, in with the new, but what can we do to tame the fire? Let's reground to Mother Earth, Mother Nature. What elements can we bring into our life? And how do we do that?
Yes, which I believe you're going to be giving us a little practice in a little bit. We're going to have a little conversation here about something else. So looking forward to hearing more about how we can become more grounded move through this fire, bring a little bit more softness to it, a little bit more stability. But every week we're going to start having this astro gossip topic, and it's going to be based on astrology and also what the two of us here will be sitting with. We are out of Aries, like you just said, and we're heading into Taurus. So we just spoke about, this in the northern hemisphere, this is spring. Taurus holds the energy of kapha. You just mentioned like the moist, heavy, dense qualities. But it's also a really good time for cleansing, right? This is very ideal for removing that stagnation with cleansing. So it brought up an interesting topic last night between us, and it was about the monthly cleanses of the woman and how this is happening with our moon cycles. So the buzz on the street is that women are reporting having their menstrual cycles for longer, or actually started bleeding again as part of it. So what's your thoughts here? Are we evolving? Are we returning to what we once were, which would be fertile till death, right? We spoke about Sarah from the Bible having children at the age of 70.
Mm-hmm. I'm 49. There's a lot of talk on perimenopause, menopause. I don't subscribe to it. I don't believe it. I think it's what you embody. It's what energetic imprint you take in, what you're resonating at. So society can talk about menopause and perimenopause. I'm not subscribing to it. I think you are what you believe. You are what you embody. So tell yourself you're amazing and you're full of life and you're full of youth. I mean, right. We're changing, but don't give yourself a death sentence by what you say to yourself.
Right. Right. Just having a thought, like my mother was at this point, she was 45 when she started going through hers. So I will too. Just constantly repeating that to yourself is something that could actually bring it on, right? Thoughts turn into matter.
Right. Well, and then think about when you're scrolling through social media, you see the news feed like, oh, all these different ads, perimenopause, this, you need that. And then it's imprinting in your head like, oh my gosh, it's like this fear mongering. Am I going through that? And so I can't do it. I can't. I say the more you stay connected with the elemental wisdom around you, what Ayurveda has to say, what Chinese medicine has to say, you stay connected to your true innate self, and you're embodying the blueprint of your soul nonstop. And that's just the way I live my life.
Beautiful said. Yes, a couple of years ago, I started flowing with a 28-day work cycle instead of the 7-day man cycle that I would call it. Mm-hmm. And I really find that when I allow the times of rest to be rest, the times of actual activity and push forward in our cycle, mm-hmm. get a lot better success results. Right. Like it just happens quickly too. Like you notice it in the month that you really start it. Within 3 months of like keeping with the cycle, the amount of success that came to me was just so beautiful to witness.
That's beautiful.
But as far as are we ending? I think it really does depend upon the individual. Like you said, the mindset of the individual, staying in rhythm, staying in connection. Yeah. So thank you for that conversation. We're going to have to take a little break here, have a blessings from our sponsors. And then when we come back, Alicia is going to guide us through our coherence breathwork. Hey, welcome back. So I just want to let everybody know that, our platform, I Rise, I Shine with Chris and Jai, there's actually a community behind this show, and it's really amazing. We are starting up many new communities here, but it's all in one location. And if you join enchanted.now, head to that on your web browser, you'll be able to hop into our portal of communities and pick and choose what you want to go through. I know that we're going to have more information and more accesses coming up in the next week or two, but I just want to let people know that, yes, there is a backstage to this. Yes, there's a community here that you can join us, connect with people like Alicia, Jai, and Christopher. So Alicia, without further ado, would you like to lead us through your offering to the community?
I would love to. So
Yay.
I always say it all begins with your breath. The tension, the hot, the Aries, the fire, we're coming out of that. Even I have experienced this. When I am tense, the first thing to go is your breath. Like, I know many of us say, oh, I need to stretch more, but if you're not connected to your breath, everything, your awareness goes out the door, your decision making. So your breath is free, it's legal. You don't have to be 21 to use it, and you own it. So coherence breathing is one of the quickest ways you can work with to re-regulate your nervous system. It's something that I actually had to integrate in a very chaotic time in my life. And then when I dove into my yoga therapy trainings, we actually had to integrate it and follow the results of this for 12 weeks. So I've worked with it, I've integrated it, and I personally know it works. So what it is you're going to inhale for 4 counts and exhale for 6 counts. You can twerk that however you want, but the longer your exhale is, what it's doing is it's bringing your parasympathetic nervous system online, your rest, restore, digest. So what I did was I would set the timer on my phone for 2 minutes, and I would just put on a song or breathe. I would put one hand on my heart and one hand on my belly to just reconnect with my body and focus on my breath. Coherence breathing done 3 times a day. Within 5 weeks, you should notice a difference. So if you don't use it, you lose it. You have to do this. It takes practice. It's not about finding a magic pill or having a drink. It's tapping into your breath to really tune into your body and rewire the system. So shall we do it?
Yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so just wherever you are, sit up nice and tall, relaxed. Okay, I want you to visualize a white light going from the crown of your head all the way down to your sacrum. And if it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes. If not, just slightly look down. Put one hand on your heart and just feel your heartbeat. So palm of your hand connected to your chest, and see if you can feel that beat. Just connect to the life force in you. And then one hand right over your navel, your lower belly. And just soften, just settle into your body and see how you feel. Check in, just say hi. I love you. And we'll inhale for 4 counts through the nose. Exhale for 6. It sounds way easy, but humanity is functioning and running and fight or flight all day long, that when you just pause and connect to your breath, it's like, oh, hi, how are you? It's like we're actually checking in with ourselves than worrying about what's going on around us. So 3 times a day, I always say breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can even do this in the car. I usually do it a lot of times when I'm drying my daughter's hair, because I can pause and I'll just breathe. Inhale for 4, exhale for 6, 2 minutes on your phone with your timer, morning, noon, and night. Or they say like 10 minutes a day, but in 5 weeks, I promise you will notice a difference. It's little changes for big results.
Wow, that's beautiful. So I love how you said the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's almost like time to eat my air, time to eat my prana.
Right? Yeah.
Right? But it is. From what I know, prana is, the life force that sustains us. It's something that is just naturally, that's how we live. What is your description of prana, and how would you describe it to our audience?
Oh gosh. Wow. I was looking through my notes, and that leads me to like the Shakti energy and the divine feminine. And to me, so breath is spirit. Even if you dive into biblical texts, breath and spirit go together. It's your life force. So when we are cutting off our ability to breathe, we're cutting off the life force, which means inside this is kind of like extreme, but you're decaying. Like energetically, you're cutting off what's giving you life. You're contracting, you're holding tension rather than expanding, opening up, and like saying yes to life.
Right, I agree. It kind of has to do with, you know, your posture too. If you're slumped or you're cutting yourself off.
Yeah, you've got lung area here,
Yeah.
your heart chakra. Yeah, like a lot of times I'll massage here just to push open up. Yes.
Yes.
Open.
Actually, my ring finger, the channel of love, I was focusing on that this morning, and I like to take a deep breath and send it that way, and send it that way into my ring fingers as well.
I love that.
That's beautiful described. Yeah. I'm kind of at a loss of a question to ask you. I was going to ask you something and it just flew right out my mind. How about you tell us a little bit about like some of the yoga practices that you do in correlation to breath work? Is there any yin yoga that you may like a specific stretch that might empower this practice if people want to take it deeper?
That opens up a whole can of worms.
I'm good at that.
For me, yin yoga ties off. Yin yoga dives into meridians in the spring. The spring is the liver meridian. You know, starting from the feet. I would say I don't want to overwhelm everybody. So honestly, if you can just sit in any pose where you're at, depending on what your fitness level is, what's comfortable for you, and hold it and see if you can hold that pose for 2 minutes, because what it's going to do as well is it's going to put pressure on your joints, which is going to help increase your range of motion. When you're stuck in that pose for 2 minutes, your mind is going to talk. You're going to be like, I can't hold this. I want to get out of this pose. It's going to help you see where you are holding tension in your body, the holding patterns. You may be holding in an area of your body, but that you didn't even realize.
Right. I mean, I know during our moon cycle time, we hold tension in our lower abdomen. If we want to relate back to that, there's specific breathing practices that we know help with giving birth. I've tried a couple of these breathing practices when I've been in pain before, and it actually helps relieve that as well.
It works.
I like to teach breath work as a focus, like a meditation focus. You can send that focus anywhere. You use your breath as the channel. And then, so if you use the breath as the channel, you focus into that tension spot, whether it be, you know, to relieve yourself from some cramps or maybe some pain in the back, right? You just breathe and focus it that way.
I took a class from Leslie Kamanoff. He has the breathing project in New York. And we worked with the breath a lot, where, like what you just talked about, you visualize where you're having the pain, you send the breath there, and then all of a sudden the pain is gone. So then we're diving into psychosomatic aspects, and it's a lot. I just love it.
There's a lot to unpack there, isn't there? But there's so many things that you can do with the breath that you just taught us. I know right before I get into the kitchen and I want to make some food, I tend to do that breath. That's very specific in my mind. Like, I know that's the exact time I do that breath so that I can regulate my nervous system before diving into like the full task of making a dinner, which can be overwhelming for me sometimes. So, but
yeah. Now, so the coherence breathing is more of a nervous system re-regulation. If someone is in high anxiety and you tell them to do that, they're going to have a hard problem, because they're probably usually in their chest. If someone is high anxiety, where I used to be before, the 4-7-8 breath is considered the rescue breath. So you'll only want to do it 3 times in a row. That's inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8.
Okay, so it's just a matter of working with like the counts, and
you got to know where you're at. Exactly. Yeah, you need to know where you're at, where your nervous system is at, and what's your intention, what's your goal. Then you have the color body breathing and yoga. There's so many different things based on your dosha, where you're imbalanced. There's a lot going on there.
Yes, it gets very personalized, but for the general population, 2 minutes a day, nobody's gonna miss you for that 2 minutes where you just allow the breath to come in.
Do it in the bathroom. Do it in the bathroom. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up as a topic? I know we've jumped around here a little bit.
I mean, I think for me, I always say just go back to the breath, and it sounds so cliche, but think about when you're born, you take that first breath, like it's your life, it's your life force. So, and nobody can take it away from you.
Nobody can take. I actually, when you said that, it reminded me of a song that I like to listen to, and I'll have to look it up and put in the comments. But I have a couple songs that are on my regular playlist, and they're kind of dancey, beaty songs, but they have in it, okay, breathe with me, and then they take a deep breath. And so I'm seeing breath work come into, music, which I'm like, thank you, because that song's going to come on. It's going to remind me.
Yeah, right. Or like your Apple Watch, stand up, breathe.
Oh, silly humans, we have to be reminded to breathe.
That's what I'm saying. Like we were born to breathe.
I love it. Yeah. Well, Chris and Jai will be coming back on here in about 9 minutes, and maybe we can talk a little bit about how this is going to go next week. Next week, there's going to be like this little community and meeting type room where we'll actually be able to, you and I and the next guest, and when you come back, you again, communicate with the guests joining us. So we can actually have conversations with our audience and hopefully get us an audience screen share here to see everybody's lovely faces, because I know there's so many people out there watching right now that I absolutely love to connect with. They're extreme dear hearts. So I'm excited to see that as we progress and mold into this beautiful I Rise, I Shine show that we are going to be.
Very cool. Very cool.
I'm excited to have you here today. And I'm kind of at a loss for words. Let's see here. What more about yourself can you share with us?
Well,
where are you from? Where are you from?
Where am I from? I'm from Northern California. I'm actually from Santa Clara University. My degree is in accounting. And somehow I found my way here. So accounting goes with everything, right?
Accounting, counting the breaths. I mean, of course. But I feel like as we go into this new earth, everybody's becoming a healer. You have to be in the 5D. You have to be connected with these powers. Yes. So it makes perfect sense to me. Somebody says, well, I was an accountant, right?
Yeah. No, I think it's great that so many people are diving into how can I make myself feel better? What do I need? What tools are available to me to improve my health? The health industry is constantly evolving, not necessarily like the medical system, but the holistic aspect of health and how we can incorporate that in our life to improve our well-being and our life.
Mm-hmm. You got to have it. So I hear that Chris and Jai are coming on a little bit early. Is that true? Let's get them on here.
Hi there. Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good morning.
Yay. Thank you for doing that. Thank you so much.
Hi, Jai.
Hello, hello. How are you guys doing? That was a great conversation, by the way. I loved your topic.
I was going to say it's like a step 4, step 7, step 8 breath work. Like it goes right with the steps. It would be a step 19, which by the way, step 19 is where people usually do panic. Like people usually have a hard time, 19, 20, me included. And I've realized I have to do 4, 7, 8 like as my normal breath. I was going to convert and make it that way. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. No, I actually love, okay, so breath work is such an important thing right now in my life. I've been doing so much.
Oh, see, she should have so do some breath work to come right back on. We're actually having some problems with her particular modem staying connected, so it's an issue. But she'll pop back on if she pops off, so we'll bring her back. But yeah,
Chris,
okay. Yeah,
I think that we all disappeared, but thanks, I do think that
we're all invisible. We've ascended. Go ahead. There we go.
I think that the 4, 7. What did you say? The 4,
7, 8.
Yeah, right, so that could be your specific, constitution calling for it, where somebody else could be calling for maybe a 4, 8. Just dependent.
Actually, Alicia, I want to do a project with you right now, or we can not now, but like next. Or we can maybe come up with like breathwork steps like that. That's brilliant because it's like you're really holding, because anything in time, anything you count is part of the step system in the sense of when the mind comprehends a 0, it's a 0. When the mind comprehends a 1, it's a 1. So it forces the consciousness to just follow those steps. So 4 seconds would be a step 4. 4 hours would be a step 4. 4 days could be a step 4.
Wow.
So I think it's really actually appropriate because you're sort of giving the soul a rhythm. It's really a rhythm, right? I mean,
you're giving your nervous system a rhythm out of the chaos.
Ah, yes. That's interesting. I wonder if we can find the resident nervous system rhythm for everybody. That'd be kind of interesting. Or crack the formula. We'll have to work on it in the background. No, and I remember one time I called you panicking. I think you told me this rhythm. And you're correct. It did work. Although sometimes it's like your mind doesn't want to like surrender to it. Like you're doing the breathing and my mind's still fighting me. Have you noticed that? Maybe not with yours. Mine's can be vicious. Hi, welcome back, Jai.
Hello.
What's
going on?
And a 4, and a 7, and an 8. Yeah, no, it's all good. Well, actually, I'll tell you what's going on. We'll talk about it in today's show. We have some major planets happening. With step 29, which, we might want, if you have another one in your back pocket besides 4, 7, 9, we could use one because this is like the most intense step number there is in the whole cycle of things. We're literally riding this wave into step 0 Taurus, and it's upon a new moon too. So it's actually pretty intense. And Aries is the most intense. And in a 29, the 9 is Aries. So there's like a pure form of Aries coming through this particular step number in Aries after a huge Aries season. So I would expect things to blink on and off. How's everyone? So just real quickly, I'd like to know from each of you before Jai and I kick it into the next to the show. How was the new moon for you? Like, did you have any personal awakenings, or did something go to sleep forever? Alicia?
Oh gosh, for me, I had to remind myself: is this a full moon or is it a new moon?
Exactly.
Yes.
The exact same thing.
Because I literally had anxiety, and I don't get anxiety, so I had to ask myself, okay, is this mine? And I'm purging a lot of old identities. So it's like, okay, it's surrender. It's a deeper level of surrender.
You're right about the identity too. Yeah. And did the old identity like not go kicking and screaming like mine did?
It's still kind of holding on, but I'm like, nope. Here's the boundary.
Yeah. What about you? Yes, exactly. You, Sarah, Miss Sarah.
Me. I'm looking at you. It's right on my ascendant. My ascendant is Aries 28. So I felt this very personally upon my ego, and I felt my ego wanting to scream, and I made it be quiet. But at the same time, I do feel the new coming in. Nothing really happened directly on this new moon. I actually felt very elated, very happy, just kind of very glowy. But it was what's happening before, and I'm sure is going to be happening in a few days as well. I'm definitely like going through a change, purging that which does not serve me anymore, changing roles, changing identities, and I think it's just a slow burn for me.
It's a slow burn, as a 27 herself. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. What about you, Jai? Jai?
Did we lose Jai again? There she is.
She's gone. It was like perfect comedy. Go ahead.
The computer's doing all these crazy things. Yes. So for me, I was going to say I've been kind of riding a high, like riding this wave, feeling the fire horse energy. It's felt very initiative to me. I've been seeing a lot of things in my life showing up that are very exciting, things that I'm looking forward to, things that I'm working on. There's a lot of like creative energy for me. And so I have thankfully been having a great time.
Excellent. I actually have two, I'll say, in this last week. I mean, this is for Taurus, this is our 12th house, and this is about faith. And for me, as a Leo rising, it's about believing. So believing and faith go like hand in hand. And I did it. I had faith and I believed. But at the same time, I still felt like the wreckage of the old coming off. There's definitely a couple of quick showers of crying that just came spontaneously. So there's still a lot of release, but it was a happy release. And I agree with you, Jai. I agree that it's very creative. Like the creativity has been like shining in my heart so powerfully. Back to like when I was in college and I first wanted to be a filmmaker. So I feel this renewal inside my heart too at the same time. Feels pretty powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, I love when the creativity comes in. I feel like that was what the glowing feel was in my heart yesterday.
I'm starting to realize that the magic of heaven is creativity. Like if you're in your creative self, whether it being creative about how you smart enough to your teacher, or being creative, how you get out of college, without having to pay, actually it plays everywhere. Like creativity is behind everything. And it's such a joy to get lean into it, which means to not settle for what you've seen. If you've seen it, try something new. Just try something new. I think we're in a world where we're always trying new things than we are trying to stick to things that work,
Right. Yeah.
We'll try that for about a day. We'll see. But, we'll be back here in just a minute. Jai and I are going to kick off our episode today. But ultimately, this episode is going to be talking about how we're on a line between two worlds. As far as I'm concerned, lifetimes, honestly.
Yeah.
What we forged in this last, days of Aries was a new ego, which I call the we-go, because it's an ego that actually considers someone else. I think that's enlightened for ego's concerned. Ego's like, there's someone else here? Okay, we're enlightened. Thank God. But and I think it really starts in the next 10, 12 hours. We go 0 Taurus. That's the first day of the new world. So that's what I was thinking. Jai, should we run into are we ready?
I'm ready. I don't know if the technology is ready, but I'm ready.
I know. It's too much light over there. We have to be careful. We have to get special aluminum foil for our computers. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank
you guys so much. Yeah.
Thank you for holding down the show. We appreciate it. We'll see you later. And we'll talk to Alicia later to tell us more about what she does.
Yes.
So if you're a light worker, if you're a light walker, if you're a light runner, I love all these terms because they're just kind of like how you're doing and building with the light. We're here in this lifetime to hold the light. If you're alive, you're here to hold the light, man. And John and I wanted to make sure that everyone can come together once a week with this show to just bring our light together, bring our hearts together. If you're dim, recharge. If you're bright, let's go supernova. And speaking of supernovas, we just experienced a step 27 new moon just on Friday in Aries. And by the way, if you don't know, 27 is the Grandmaster step of Aries. So like a master Jedi, if you will, in the context of Aries, that Jedi, that master warrior in ancient, Japanese literature as well. I guess you would say a Marine in our world, our modern technology. But in simple terms, it was the birth of that greatest version of our ego, our greatest version of ourself. And, in simple terms, it's kind of a calling from Mother Earth, Gaia, for every person now on the planet to stand tall in your greatest expression of your ego character, like the greatest person you've ever been. That's 0 of the new age, right? And if there ever a time to do it, it's now. And for our light workers out there, you are the bright star that you really are. Show us that bright star now. That's what we want to say.
I love that so much, and I feel it very intensely in my own personal life. And this week, we found ourselves in the third Jinki, which actually took us through a journey from the shadow of chaos to the city of innocence. And it was inviting us essentially to see the world through the eyes of a child with wonder at the magic of it all. And it's that energy of creativity that is just lighting everything up right now that I am personally and gratefully feeling in my own life.
I am too, although it's bipolar. I'll feel it. Because I'm on the edge, so that's fair. I just want to say to people, you might feel it, then lose it. Feel it, then lose it. It kind of comes on, almost like getting used to it. It's what I've noticed so far and experienced. And that's another reason why we have the show is so we can compare notes. We're about to ascend, y'all, and no one's paying attention but us.
Right?
Seriously, no one is. I don't know if if you know someone who is, tell them about us, because we just want to bring us all together, at least focus our conscious intention as the people who care and understand and are here for Mother Earth at this time and for the people of the Earth too. We're going to have a great show today too. And I Rise, I Shine with Chris and Jai this week. We're going to go on a journey. And we want to review what the new moon was for everybody. We're going to go a little deeper with that. Give you a couple of questions to affirm if you're in alignment with your highest good or not in alignment with your highest good.
And I am going to talk about a little bit more deeply about the Jinki that we started the week with, as well as the Jinki that we're still experiencing today.
And wait, there's more actually. It's not just the end of Aries. It's the beginning of Taurus. And we have a dimensional shift that's going to start in a couple hours, frankly. Something very strange. Many 7s and a few 9s. We're going to talk about all that as well.
Wow. It's all that and a few surprises for these weeks. I Rise, I Shine with Chris and Jai.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Reach out, touch what was once just in your imagination.
fly, because you're done crawling. Reach for your most incredible moments, right here, right now. Let the sun shine in, let the sun shine in. Whoa. Let the light come in, let the light come in.
Namaste, friends and family. Welcome back to I Rise, I Shine with Chris and Jai. I'm Chris Rotecki, Step Astrologer and Channel Guardian to the Step System of Reality. We're so pleased and honored to have you here. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. And welcome, everyone. I am Jai Gobind, and I am your channel for grace, singer, songwriter, master, Jinky human design and astrology synergist. Okay.
And you do.
So, Chris, I want to know what's going on with the steps, the planets this week, and how the steps basically led us to the new moon. And what did you say? What kind of multidimensional portal did you say was going on today?
That was just me being, a Leo rising, but trying to do something funny and catchy. No, truthfully, well, I think this is a dynamic moment. My team at Series Joy, which has actually closed its doors as of today, it's an interesting line as well. But our team there, our Astro Studies team, we came up with this. We saw this months ago because we plan ahead and schedule ahead. And we saw that, holy shit, Aries was going to be intense. And we saw particularly that this new moon we just had on Friday is probably the kickoff of what Palladians have called the frequency wars, which is where you kind of come to this climax of the vibrations that always want to play bass notes and the vibrations that want to play treble. Those two vibrations come together in cool. It could be a clash, making a lot of noise, basically, and hopefully sorting itself out, for good. Now, it will sort itself out literally for good. Good already wins this. We already have people in the future that told us this happens, literally. And so we know it's just a matter of experiencing it now. And this portal was the kickoff to that. Now, the portal is starting in a couple of hours. When I say portal, we're talking about having 5 to 7 planets in Aries right now. That's strange. Aries are already intense enough. Give them 7 more. Give them 7 pills. It's like, right? But 5 of the planets are all vibrating at step 7 or net 7, including the nodes moving just to 7 in the last 24 hours overnight. So it means in this final node of 29 Aries, and 29, by the way, if you don't understand step astrology, it's something I brought to the world. 29 is the most intense number there is. It's actually a 0 in disguise of a 29. It's a portal. And what it does is it allows you to go to any dimension. So if on Earth you want to ascend, you have to first bring your energy on Earth up to 29. Then from 29, you can go off planet or multidimensional. So it's a multidimensional moment. And in this moment, the other states of awareness, the other parts of who we are all attuned to our higher self. So what this says is it's a higher self hijacking. Our higher self is coming down at this last moment of creation of the ego, is coming in with 7 sevens. I'm not kidding. 7 sevens, all kind of singing harmoniously, starting about 2 hours. And it keeps that note until actually we get to 0 Taurus, which is the foundation of reality. Taurus is the Earth, in my opinion. It doesn't have a ruling planet. It is the planet of Earth. That's what bulls do. They just sit there. They stand there and eat and shit. That's pretty much keeping the world going around. That's what Tauruses do. But that 0 Taurus means, okay, here's the new reality, this new foundation. And what's the foundation? Well, this is literally how incarnation works. We come from spirit, 7. We come in, we form into solid form, which is 9, the ego. The ego is sort of the memory card in which our soul is copied and saved to. And then 0, we create life or the vision or the hologram or the whatever you want to call it that we're in. We create that from that seed of 7 to 9. All right, which is 16 at 7. So at the end of the day, we are basically recreating life. I mean, this looks like a second lifetime. I mean, really, as far as the difference between when you were born. Have I ever seen something like this? Not in my 20 plus years of practicing
Wow.
astrology online where I had to watch. I've never seen anything like this, nor had our team. Yeah. Pretty intense.
Wow.
So the vortex opens in a couple hours to ask you to answer about that.
Yeah, no, that sounds
I'll let you talk.
amazing.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, what was that?
I was saying there's more in the details, but like I want to know what you feel.
No, I mean, I'm kind of blown away. Like, it's a lot of energy for sure, and I've been feeling there's like a heightened sense of, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it's just like a buzzing. It kind of feels like a buzzing. I was actually doing yesterday. I was teaching, and we do meditations and stuff in my classes, and an Akashic journey. And during the journey, I just felt like my whole body was like vibrating. I don't know. To me, I feel like it's like there's a lift, and then personally, I'm getting really excited about Uranus about to enter into Gemini, but it's like it's like a climactic lift off into another dimension. And I think we're gonna feel it right around when Uranus enters Gemini. At least I know I am, because I'm a 12th house Gemini. I have tons of Gemini energy. And even though Uranus in Gemini is actually going to be my Uranus opposition years, I am actually really excited for it. But yeah, there's an intensity in the air that is just wow.
I've never felt it before. And what's funny is I didn't think like the events of my own life would be so dramatically different, like so much change going on, to where for a minute I'm like, is this my bullshit or is this the universe? I can't tell, because they're both in synchronicity. Of course, that's how they are always, But as a sensei, I'm in the boat with everybody. I'm not outside watching. I'm on the boat with you, and we're navigating this turn by turn. And this week built up to it. I mean, energetically, we started the week at step 23. So we had a vision at the beginning of the week. We're talking about the week we just lived, guys. We're going to relive it a little bit, because I think hindsight is 2020, especially in your understanding of how the energy works. Astrology is like amazing. If you just look back one or a couple of days, you can see without a doubt that it was in fact in line. So back to Monday, Mars conjuncted Neptune. So things got really blurry on Monday. This is kind of the universe putting us under for the surgery. And Mars is, kind of our action energy, but it is the ego. It's the ruler of ego. And so here we have the ego being rebooted. And as the ego is rebooted, along comes its ruling energy, the steering wheel of the device. The steering wheel of Mars shows up in the sign, back home in Aries, back where it belongs. But then it conjuncts Neptune, which is God. So it gets blasted by God at step 2, which means that ultimately the seed of spirituality hits, 7, hits the 7 early on in the week. So you could say that Mars was converted to a 7 on Monday and given these new instructions. So it kind of worked against your old patterns. Your ego was kind of fighting between the old patterns and new patterns, because Mars is like, basically taking in this new instruction from Neptune. Because when you cross over to Neptune, that's your higher self pretty much reprogramming your hardware, saying, okay, that's it. Your firmware is changing.
Wow.
Like your higher self, which is watching you, is like, we got to change where we direct. Then on Tuesday, Mercury sextiled Uranus at 29. So Mercury, our mind, gets caught up in a scrambled egg on Tuesday, which again, similar thing, except the brainwash is, hey, we're going to change everything. Wait for the map. So you might have felt a little anxiety between Tuesday and Thursday. Then on Thursday, the sun conjoined Chiron. Now what that means is the Chiron is rules Virgo. Virgo is what we become in the end. So Taurus is really the frame for everything, the building frame, and Virgo is with all the fixings and all the other things inside. The two work hand in hand together, and Capricorn would be the boss that hired them both. But that said, sun conjuncting Chiron on Thursday meant you had to come to realization on Thursday. You might, audience, you might want to think back to this, because I'd like to know the answer if anyone wants to put it in chat. Is that at that point on Thursday, you should have decided that you're either healed and you can do this, or you're not healed and you got to go back to the beginning. Whoa. And so that was like a final out, like before the blast.
No, it has definitely felt that. No, it was definitely felt like layers are just like chunks, just like falling off.
Yes. I had moments of uncertainty on that day. I was like, are you crazy? And there was like, oh no, the question that asked if I was crazy is the crazy, so to speak. Honestly, and that's when you get down to Chiron. It's like, when you get to the bottom of a health issue or a mental issue or a spiritual issue, in the very end there, you find yourself asking if you're okay. But what you don't realize is the part asking is the healed part. That's the healed part asking. And that tells you, okay, I'm healed. I would not have asked, if I was not aware and looking at it from a different perspective. But it's kind of hard. You have to watch your own consciousness to see these little signs, right? Neptune also hit Mars on Mars and Neptune sextile Pluto on that same day, Thursday, which basically means kind of cutting the cords Thursday to certain things. You want to cut cords with people or situations or whatever. I certainly did. And then Friday was a new moon we had at 27. So new moon is a seed that's planted. And 27 is everything you feel and everything you sense. And that's powerful. That's what makes it a master Jedi, that degree, because imagine a soldier that only fires if they feel or sense it's right.
Wow.
That means you're right.
Yes.
Tuned in.
You know, I've been feeling like this week, what's been coming up for me has been moments where I have been stepping, like kind of being pushed, nudged, like, you know, there's a little bit of a pressure to really step into leadership and to make, you know, decisions that are like, there's nothing else but this allowed, you know, and to make sure that I am very clear in my communication with everything, like, you know, all relationships, all situations. It's just, I've just felt like we have to be at our best. And my internal experience of this is that the warrior in me is standing up to it. Like the warrior in me is like, let's do this. Like I'm ready. I've got my armor on. I'm noticing myself not caving in to the pressure. Yeah.
That's fascinating. I've seen you stand up this week too. It's been nice to watch. You know, and you handle power very gracefully, I'll have to say. You know,
thanks.
Which is so nice. A lot of people get in power, and I'm not that I was expecting anything else from you, but I just in times in life. I mean, for those who are going into a new place of power, give yourself a minute before you start using it. You know what I mean? Like, give yourself a minute, because like the people who grab power for the first time tend to like try on everything at the once, and it puts like a bubble of like, whoa, you know, for people to deal with. We want to kind of do that practice behind ourselves. But yeah, I see exactly what you mean. The push for me, well, what's interesting for me is that I had this week, the signal versus the noise, that conversation, where there's a lot of noise, which is like a lot of the noise are my regrets. You know, I find myself wanting to fix something that's not going to be used again, like artwork or something. I find myself being pulled to fixing the old, and it's like, no, just new. It's like, just focus on the new, which I spell KNEW. It's what I've always known, but didn't listen to. It's new as in that. So KNEW, new, like focus on the new, let go of the old. Don't think about like all the, you know, how my conscious will be worried, then worry what they say, that all this, like, and you can see like, Jesus, was I spending money, you know, on which is time, you know, on all this stuff, you know, and a refreshing lightedness, feeling lighter, because the load is actually taking off. I'm taking the load off. Actually, I'm not really putting anything on.
And it's like what comes to me is like freedom. I think what we're experiencing is like we're shedding because essentially we are truly free, and it's time to feel our freedom as we step into this new world, this new reality, and we are becoming so empowered. And I think part of it is because we have been just ramped up against our fears and been forced to face some major fears this year, last year, leading into this year, just in general. I think as a collective, you know, you can see it out like in the things that are going on in the world. It's like there's fear out there and there's confusion. But I feel like those that are finding themselves in a grounded place are going to make it through. They're going to have not like an easier time, but I think they're going to feel more solid throughout the shift, more anchored instead of like a leaf floating in the wind. I'm being, you know, just blown here, blown there, and I have no anchor. And I'm like so grateful that I have worked on being anchored in my life, just in general, so that when, you know, this is not going to slow down. You know what I mean? Like the astrology that we've been experiencing for the last few years, even going all the way back to 2020. Yeah. Right? It's like every year we've had some major thing, especially with the outer planets, and it's still happening. You know, like we got another one coming this week. It's like, wow, and so it's like not going to slow down. So you can't really settle. You have to transmute. You have to transform. You have to face your fears, and you have to like meet me on the other side. I can't carry you with me.
Thank God. Yes, it's well said. My mentor Gwen has said that, you know, your family and friends, you meet on the other side in heaven. You have to file in a single file, you know. I found, it's interesting because we have a new Sirius Joy is now off the air. She has retired. That old ship is being put to rest. She carried a lot of passengers from point A to point B and Z, and we're grateful for that vehicle. So that vehicle shifting. A new vehicle, which is Sensei Chris Wateki.com and .now, will be live tonight at 0 Taurus. So we're not live yet. We'll be there at that time. But I bring it up because I'm teaching a new method of the pep talks, which used to be pep talks, are now called step talks, but a new method of coaching, and actually has to do with this, what you're talking about, things speeding up. What has to do with this, I realized that there are 7 Earth days in one spiritual day. So one spiritual day in heaven, or one spiritual day in the next level, we'll call it like a soul day, because I really think it's our soul. One day of the soul is 7 in 3D. So that's, to me, the ratio that things are speeding up. You literally have to handle 7 days of work in a day, which we can. Yeah.
Well,
light
you
work. 7 days of light work, not 7 days of outer work.
Right.
It's light work, because when you let the light work go to that place ahead of time, reality then catches up to where the soul is. And that's kind of what we're using. So you're right. We're going to speed up. But I felt I was in my heart. I mean, the anchor is my heart. Like if I got happy, I felt amazing. If I played your song, actually, your song helped me a lot. Like the one that opens up this show, that song makes me so fucking happy. I cry in the mornings to it. Because it's just
I love it. I love it.
I know I'm a mess, but it's fun though. It's not on the camera, but they have people in my house are like, what the fuck's going on? But at the end of the day, if you go in your heart, that's my whole point. If you're in your heart, if you're enjoying something, even if it's yogurt, you're grounded because you are the ground.
You are the earth. Like that's another thing that we are coming into our awareness is expanding to see more of what's really going on and who we really are. And one of the questions I think of, the Chiron in Aries is like the insecurity is like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm doing here. Like I'm weird, I'm the odd one out. And so that question of who am I and why am I here is getting answered. And this new moon literally highlighted the crap out of it because it was conjunct Chiron in Aries. So it was like this is something that I have been feeling as well, that the more that I ground myself into my body, the more I feel okay to handle anything.
Oh, yes.
And that's just been, I think, we are part of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
We're part of that of her. We are her consciousness. We think we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
And as that consciousness, we have, we could talk about will and willpower and all that stuff, but like we have the ability to ground ourselves in our physical time-space reality. And the more that we do that, the more that we ground ourselves into, like, the original intention was we wanted to come down here and we wanted to actually do something magical. We wanted to be like that child, that, like, that innocence to come play and create. And we've completely lost our way. And so to go back to that, it's just like what the world and humanity is going through right now is the same as if an adult gets to a point where, like, they're dealing with depression, anxiety, traumas, fears. And they choose to heal. And when they choose to heal, they return to their innocence. They heal their inner child. I think that's what we're doing. And I think that's one of the biggest themes of this week too.
Amen. I would say Taurus is the new start. Taurus is kindergarten. It like takes you back, because Taurus is like the basic Taurus energy of all the colors, all the smells, all the ingredients in the kitchen. What do you want to make? Like Taurus brings you all the ingredients to make stuff. That's what Taurus is. And Taurus is Gaia. It's Mother Earth.
Yeah.
I believe that we're a body and a soul. Something Alicia told me and was saying yesterday in our dress rehearsal, that we're a body and a soul. The soul holds the body. The body makes the body is made from the soul and Mother Earth. And Mother Earth lends her energy, like a woman lends her cells to a baby, lends her energy for us to materialize in this world with our soul's intention, And so what you say goes to tremendous credit. Getting into the body, embodying ourselves, eating pure organic foods and nothing with chemicals that separates from the body, separates from our aura, creates holes in our aura. This good health and good practice of just being, living life and giving the body what it wants and how it's designed. I agree. It grounds more than anything. It makes me feel amazing. That's sleep. It's the basic things. It's funny. It's so basic.
No, it is. Yeah. The basic stuff is what we need right now. Like we've been going so up into our headspace.
Yes.
And what we need is actually just to go back to the basics. That's actually a theme that's been coming up for me, like in my community. And just to talk a little bit about, like, through the lens of the gene keys and human design, what we experienced this past week leading into where we are today. There was actually 2 gene keys that were activated. The first one was the 42nd gene key. And that one goes from, it's the shadow of expectation to the gift of detachment and the city of celebration. So it's like when you let go of expectations, that's when that childlike wonder comes back, right? Because if everything needs to be a certain way, that playfulness just kind of dies. That's why the expectation is the shadow. So we were invited into celebration, but detachment first, right? And then celebration. And then the sun moved into the 3rd gene key. And the 3rd gene key goes from the shadow of chaos. This is the one that talks about the innocence of the child. It goes from chaos to innovation and then to innocence. And it's through the eyes of a child, because it's reminding us that things, in the beginning, they're very chaotic. When you're like initiating something, when you're creating something, it's almost like the creative bomb goes off, and you're like, oh my God, we could do this and we could do that. And it could be like this. And oh my God, I could do that. And that space is chaotic, but it's like exactly the part of the process of beginning something new. So we are all being called to initiate something new in our life, to step into creativity, I think, more than anything else, and to like remember that little part of ourselves that just wants to have fun and play and not have like any, like, I gotta be here at this time, I have to, perform this thing, I have to fulfill this duty or whatever. It's like we just need a little off time. And then when we're off, it's like, well, what do you do when you have that off time? Well, you have the opportunity to like be in your creative space. And I think that's the journey that we've been invited into this week. In the human design lens, it's the gate of growth leading into the gate of ordering. So there is also this part of the energy that is calling us to mature. Like we are maturing, but the maturing is actually coming back to our innocence. It's almost like, you know how like when they talk about ascended masters or they depict like the Buddha, and the Buddha is always like smiling. And this smiling Buddha, the reason why these enlightened beings are smiling is because they're seeing the hilariousness of how people are so serious about everything and how hilarious it is. How we take everything so seriously, and the irony and the weird stuff that happens and the weird way that people behave. And you're like, what is going on right now? And from that perspective, it's hilarious.
It is hilarious. Yeah. No, I just wanted to, I had a vision. I was taken to an angel room one time. Like there's a whole procedure of breath work, actually in colors and chakras. And I don't remember the sequence, and I'm not supposed to. But suddenly in my heart, this chamber of angels is in your heart, apparently. It's a dimensional like portal you have there. So I went in there and I opened the door, and there are like 10 angels. They're all just lights. I can't see their faces. But what I know and see is that they're telling jokes and laughing. And I was like, what the fuck? I came down and I was like, I talked to the person who facilitated. I'm like, they're all laughing. They're all having, they're all having fun. She goes, that's how they are by nature. There's it's kind of a contest to see who can make God laugh. But it was like, oh my God, I want to be up there. I want to hang out. I want to play. It was like, and that was my nature. I'm a goofball. I think at the end of the day, it's absolutely correct. It's like, we're supposed to just have fun. And for me, the work never stops. So the fun has to be in the work. If I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, I use the word work, then something's off. And it's about that too.
It's the merge of the two things together. I was just telling someone about this. I have it's like 10 years now. I have fully committed to like my path, which is like learning about me and doing the things that I love. And I've evolved. I've changed. I've like, I like this. Well, I don't like that anymore. But the fact that I have been fully committed to be in that space has made such a huge difference for me. And it's like, I live it and breathe it every day. Like, this is my life every day. Like, I'm 24/7 talking about these things. Like, and sometimes I'm like, I forget that is rare. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
you know, like not most people are like living, you know, the 3D life still, and because
Yes.
you know, it's not wrong, good or bad. It's just that I'm noticing that what I do and the way that I do it is rare, and what it took for me to get here was like a lot of courage, despite my fears.
Well said. And the courage is to go ahead and bet that you're on the right path. I mean, in that moment, your mind can put together that this looks horribly wrong if you continue on this path. This looks horrible. It's like C-3PO in Star Wars, like always bitching my mind, like, but wait, but oh, you know, like I have C-3PO for a mind. And I think that's why he's funny, is because it's like our mind is always going like, danger, you know, but in reality, it's like, no, but I'm having fun. One thing I realized is if your heart's engaged, you're on the right path. Like
You don't
if your
learn, you
heart's
don't
engaged,
grow. Yeah, you don't grow by staying in safe places.
no. But if people, I think, at least I had this problem. I'm having fun. This can't be right. I must be
Well, that's the
doing something
beliefs. That's
right.
the belief system that's gotta get like okay, bye.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
yeah. The fact I'm actually associating, like even when I first had my first drink of alcohol, I'm like, this tastes horrible. Yes, that's what you want. It's like, what? Why are we drinking something that tastes horrible? Like, if I don't enjoy it, isn't that a
Mhm.
sign from higher self? Like, this is not what you're supposed to do. And yet we're taught to, like, brave through it, walk it off, like push through the pain. Like, no, those are strong signals that you're on the wrong path. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, we just associate like to expect that in life. And I don't think that's true. Now we'll see. I could be homeless in a couple of weeks. Like I'm on the total edge. Like I like to play to the very bleeding edge for whatever reason. I think because I feel safe teaching it afterwards. But I feel like, there comes a point where you just stay on that path and you have to have faith that you will start to see in time. I don't know how long that is, although I have an idea of the time. In time, you'll see that manifest and appear. What you be in the joy today, you'll see automated in a certain amount of days, which I'll keep a secret how many days that is.
Mm.
Yeah, so we come out. We're coming out. We'll talk about it in the service. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we're looking to see if it's true. We're gonna have a kind of a contest in our community.
Mhm. And I'd love
But
for us to, to transition, but I also want us to talk a little bit about, our personal stories. But before that, we're going to hand it over to our blessed sponsors. And when we come back, we are going to share a little bit more about what we, personally experienced this week. If you're here, it's because you care about growth, alignment, and living consciously. And I want you to know, everything I create inside Channel for Grace is designed to help you live aligned by design, in your power and in your strength. We have a free global community where light workers from around the world gather to connect and support one another. A starseed membership that guides you through the entire astrological year so you understand what's happening and how to work with it. We offer astrology courses, special workshops, and the Moon Goddess training, all housed inside one intentional private space. If you're ready for real support, real community, and real alignment, check out the links below and come join us. I'd love to walk this journey with you.
hey, everybody, that was our one advertiser and sponsor, Jai.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jai. Pay the rent this week. But no, we want to say to everyone, like, we are just starting out this community. It's really for us. It's an event. It's a soul services. It's certainly not church. It's certainly not TV. It's like somewhere where it's entertaining and fun, and we're together once a week. And we will be telling you how you can donate if you want to donate to us, and we will be offering you purchase of advertising. The only thing with the advertising, you have to be a do-good kind of thing. We don't really let anyone advertises who does harm to the world. I don't think they're watching us, anyways. But so we refuse YouTube commercials. They're often just things like Coca-Cola and stuff that we know is not good for us. So we're going to kind of be snobby about that. But I'm sure anyone watching doesn't have that sort of product or service. Just email us at advertise@iriseishine.com. Advertise at Rise I Shine, and we'll get to you. Whatever we'll get to you, and we would love to work with you. That's anything out of the hat. So let us know. We love it. All right.
Awesome.
That's mine. John. So we're talking about our stories last week. Do you want to go first? Or shall I?
Well, let's hear about yours first. I feel like you've been going through some major changes, major shifting. How did the astrology play out in your personal life?
That's a good question. Well, Aries for Taurus is our subconscious faith. And that's why Tauruses are so stubborn. You're like, you're so stubborn. No, we're in Aries in faith. We already decided and committed. It's done. You do it in heaven. We have an ego about our faith. We're cocky about our faith. We don't let anyone in. Our ego blocks access to our spiritual side. And so the result of that strength to not waver on what we have faith in is anytime a Taurus has to reboot their faith. So when you have to reboot your own faith because you're outdated, because things have changed, there's more information, whatever the case is, or you're about to produce some more meat and milk as Tauruses manifest, then you have to do a belief structure upgrade. Belief structure faith upgrade. So having a faith upgrade means one and only thing, that you don't know if it's going to work out. It's like a test of faith. You have to actually live the test, which I'm doing. We're putting to sleep Serious Joy. It's a 10-year project, by the way, guys. 10 years. I'm a 10 Taurus. I manifested it 10 years. So it's like I did about 10 years of Soul Garden, but about 10 years of Serious Joy. I'm now entering my 21st year on the air. And, 10 years at least, let's see if we can get to 11, but with the next projects. And so for me, it's the tap dance of letting something go while you open up to something new, and the grace, trying to be as graceful as possible. At this point, I'm just, people have seen me rebuild myself so many times because I'm very open about it. I want to show what it's like and how ugly it is. But at this point, by this time, my goals are like, just to be able to be a little more graceful, calm down. This ain't our first rodeo, kind of thing, like staying centered, but not suppressing my emotions, because in the past 10 years ago, I did, so the progress I made in this last 10 years from the last time there's a breakdown. It was really 2012 that you want to go back to. It's really about 12 years, honestly. I'm saying 10 because I'm a Taurus. For society, is 12 years ago in 2012 ish, that this began, and so 2016 is when it really hit the ground running. And so what we're ending is whatever you've been going through since 2016 on a small micro. On a macro, this is the beginning of the age of Aquarius. And so I also see amazing age of Aquarius things dropping in my life, like just amazing. Like Jai, working with Jai is amazing. Like people who are creative and fun, and projects that I love and enjoy, like that's all coming in at the same time. So it's been really hard to like let go of at what point do you drop this? At what point do you embrace that? And the grace of it, and just dealing with the feelings of it. Plus my body going through change too, like huge change. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was like emotionally better, and I feel stronger and calmer. And there came a moment on the new moon. The new moon was crazy. I mean, I can't even tell the story here yet. Okay, but it was so crazy. But I got really, actually, I'll just say, I had a test around entities, an entity test. An entity entered into my space, basically, which I haven't had in a long, long time. If you dealt with that, but I come from like trailer family, like where entities are common, like, because of the kind of just where we are economically at the time. And so, growing up, there were all kinds of entities that would take over people around me, which is kind of crazy. But what an entity is like a dark, unhappy energy that people allow in. And so I had forgotten about that, but that was my Grandmaster test of 29, was to see it correctly. Because what happens is when someone around you is like playing the very dark, where they're miserable, they open themselves up to, I think fourth dimensional beings. And this is just kind of a bacteria. It's sort of it's a bacteria that cleans up things that are dying. And so it gets into a person's aura or whatever, and suddenly their behavior changes really radically. But what happens is when I'm around that kind of energy, and this went off on a tangent, but it must be important. When I went off, when I'm in front of that energy, I start thinking something's wrong with me. I start thinking, what have I done? It makes me question myself. And this time I finally caught it. Whereas before I would spend a long time worrying about myself, not realizing I'm being negatively influenced, by something that is really the reflection of my light. So what I found was like a reflection of my light kind of said, an anti-reflection sort of said, I see you. And I said, I see you. And we're past this stage, right? And it felt like that's the case. So if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does. Working with, I think that the theme is like getting rid of things that no longer belong in your space, and then starting to see with more clarity when something that is not yours is in your space and how it shows up. So it's interesting that you're having thoughts, but you're going, wait a minute, is that mine? Is that, and that process, some people, it takes some openness to be able to see and observe what's going on from a not a higher perspective, but kind of like watching yourself kind of a thing. Like there's got to be a going beyond just the horse blinders, like, because if you're just living life with the horse blinders, then you're not going to see anything outside of that one perspective, that one viewpoint. And that's a great point that you're making, that in order for us to really recognize where we're experiencing shadows, where we're experiencing someone else's energy, where there's like entities coming in and we need to clear our energy and our space, just the process of being able to see those things is huge. So yeah,
it's the awakening at that point, at least for myself. But
yeah,
I think what's really important that I want to help people know is when you go through a past life transit, which you don't realize that you do all the time. People don't realize this, but we are already multidimensional. And so when you have a past life transit, you're actually feeling what it was like to be alive at that time in this time. And you don't realize that your soul has been hijacked by an emotional memory, that you don't understand why you're feeling this way at this time. And you feel crazy because your emotions do not fit the scene you're in. And what happens is usually the mind tries to figure out what the F is going on. So the mind starts to project the feelings onto the existing players. And that's how karma spreads. Now, I just got to have a karma transit. That's what 12th house is. I mean, this is my karma transit graduation. Woohoo! And it ends with this. Yeah. But I guess a lot of people, I think, as they wake up, and that's what's going to happen now, people are going to wake up to things that they didn't think was possible. And I'm talking about people who are in our community. Now, people outside our community will not know what it is, I feel. But they're waking up to past life memories. They're waking up to past life situations. They don't know what's wrong with them.
They might think they're going crazy. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what it felt like with this thing. It's like I first went into my old pattern, which is what's wrong with me? And I realized that you asking is what's wrong. Because you feel yourself, you're fine. Yet your mind is asking when you feel fine. To me, that was like that's where I always fall down the well. That's where I keep missing it at Albuquerque.
Caught yourself. Caught yourself from fully falling. That is huge.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for saying it. I couldn't articulate it. You're Gemini. That's it. Exactly it. And when you almost fall off a ledge, you're like, there's a moment like, there's that too. There's just and because it's a pattern in life, it's like, you're thinking all the time, it's like, that you've dealt with that in life and not known. So very private, very quiet. But now from this point forward, this is the line. So now Geminis will have this next month. Then Cancers will have the moment I just described. Then Leos will have the moment I described. So every sign from Taurus onward will have that moment I just described the month before your birthday. Just so you know, you'll go through this final letting go of the subconscious shadow.
Looking forward to that.
Sorry, we've got cameras all over your house. I'm just kidding. Yours and I.
know China does.
We won't. I know China does, yeah. Yeah. It's already built in our appliances. What are you worried about? Just tap into that. That's so funny. So that was my personal. What did you go through? You're like, I had a manicure.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. But Well, I had a pretty good week. And thank God. And that's why I'm grateful, because I have some kind of emotional crazy highs and lows sometimes, even though I don't have that center defined in my human design. But it makes it so that sometimes I feel even more emotional. And it's hard for me. I feel almost like energy comes through me. Speaking of entities, energy flows through me, and I feel it very intensely, and I have to kind of sweep it away, but it always flows through me. And it's almost like people can't lie to me. And it's not like, oh, I'm special or anything like that. It's just when I see someone and when I look at someone, I'm seeing things that it's subconscious stuff in them, but I see it very clearly. And so today, this was a week where I didn't have that kind of crazy up and down. I actually felt very much in my creative space, very much inspired. I was actually amazed at the energy that I had in my body, because there's been moments where I've been super tired. And now it was every day would even though I was sometimes staying up pretty late, I would wake up the next day, and the whole day I'd be great. I'm what am I doing different that I'm feeling so good in my body? I'm well, I'm loving it. So I did kind of start to work out a little bit. I was I hadn't done that in a while. So I started to get on my treadmill and doing, I have the mirror thing, and I was doing workouts, very Aries, let's run, let's do a workout. And so I think that allowed me to be more comfortable in my body, which allowed me to feel more energy, which allowed me to be more in my creative space. And I'm so excited, because right now I'm designing and putting together, the retreat that I'm going to be running in Sedona on May 27th through the 31st. And I am so like, there's an ecstatic energy every time I look at it, talk about it, get ready, like purchasing things that I'm going to need, you know, like we're going to be making a drum. So I bought all the drums on the day of the Aries new moon. I mean, like just things like that, you know, so it felt very uplifting. There was a crazy thing that happened on the day of the new moon that I was just like, what is this? Because I have this little wood stove. It's a pretty random story, but I have this little wood stove in my office, and it's got a pipe that, you know, goes outside of the house, and obviously the smoke goes out. But what ends up happening is like this little bird falls through the pipe to the bottom of the stove, and it was like stuck in there, a bird. And I was just like,
No.
what am I going to do? Because it's like flapping around. It's like, I need like, get me out of here. It's in the dark. It's probably getting all black from all the sun. So I was able to literally just like get on this ladder, and I called my husband and I was like, what do I do? You know, I'm like, I don't know how to take this thing apart, but I want to take it apart. Like, should I break it? What do I do? Like hammer at it? So he was like, no. He's like, we didn't actually fully screw it in. And that's like the amazing part of like working in a place that's always a construction site. It's like you can undo it still because we didn't actually screw it all the way in. I'm like, oh, okay, thank God. So I pull the pipe out, and then I lift it up, and my dog's right there. But the bird, he comes out, he lands on the floor, and he's all black. He looks like a bat.
Wow.
Okay, like the bird like transformed into a bat. And then from there, he goes, what the heck? He flies up, and he flies towards my kitchen. And then he flies right out. We have this door, this like huge door that I just opened because he's gonna have to get out some way. So he flies right out the door, and I was just like, "What was that?" Yeah, I was like in the middle of working, and I'm like, "Excuse me, bird! Like, how dare you?" It was crazy. But then when I was doing my broadcast that night, when I was doing an intuitive reading, like pulling cards and channeling from the Akashic, what I realized was it was the lesson of like, it went down the wormhole. The bird went down the wormhole into the darkness, like flapped around trying to free itself, like freaked out so bad that it turned itself completely black from like a bat. And then it was freed. And when it came out of the hole, it was in another dimension, because my house is like, what for the bird? Like, what is this? Like, where am I? But he flew anyways, and he literally found his way out. And that was the lesson. I was like, oh my God, the bat means transformation. You know, the bat is also like about being in the darkness and being okay with being in the darkness.
Perfectly in the dark. Yeah.
I know. And then you came back out, you know, it came back out into the light.
Yes.
So it was like that happened.
That's crazy.
That was crazy.
I almost feel, my interpretation for myself would be like, oh, that's like a little movie of God telling me how I've been. Like, were you stuck? Were you stuck in the soot? Did your higher self come in and reach you and rescue you? You know, was the higher self's dog next to it? You know,
I was playing the role of like God.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Yes.
Wow.
That's exactly. I think sometimes as we come into the Ascended Master position or wherever we're going to go, because Ascended Master is not a given. That's a job you apply for. Apparently, that you come back and keep helping people cross over. I think some people go to whole nother dimensions when they ascend to Earth. But I think that one of the things you recognize is, you know, just as you grow up and you have kids, you know, you see when you're a parent, and you look at your kid, you're like, oh my God, this is what Dad was like when I was that age. And you like see your parents, like you are your parent when, you know, you're seeing both. You're seeing yourself as a kid looking up at the parent, yourself as a parent looking down at you. Now you understand both roles. It's kind of the same in Ascension in the sense that now you take God's role or the heavenly angels role of looking down at you. You're the young one that you're, you know, is trying to inspire. It's that same flip perspective. And I think that that's kind of maybe how it works, in the sense that we have to be and not be in order to ascend, which means I think we have to be ourselves now and be our higher self now at the same time. And that to me is having your hands on both sides, you know. And from there, somehow we energetically go choose one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
I feel,
and I think
try
that yeah.
Try to let us know.
It was a huge kind of eye-opening little story that just, you know, very vividly came into my awareness.
Yes.
And I felt myself in the story, and I felt humanity in the story.
Yes.
And it was phenomenal because, and I tell you this, I didn't realize the whole connection to the bat until that night when I was pulling the cards, and the animal spirit that we got was the bat.
Oh my God.
I know.
I know that's exactly, yeah.
So I was
My
like,
life's the
wait
same
a
way.
minute. Ding,
I'll
ding,
be
ding,
damned.
ding, ding.
Oh, it's so obvious. You're like, really? Really? You can't even do something
Yeah.
subtle at this point?
Yeah.
This is weird. Is you become more aware, when you become more light worker aware, when you're starting out, it's like very subtle. You're like, that's a stretch. Everything that comes out, you're like, it's kind of a stretch, maybe. Once you're like at the level, I think where I am anyways, it's like cannot deny. It's absolutely the thing you said this morning. It's like, oh my God. It almost seems like it's like over the top,
Yeah.
over the top, loud. And I also think about that bird. I think about how Mother Nature works. It's like that little birdie got stuck with you because she didn't realize that she was like in the face of someone who had been a stuck bird. And although it's a shitty day for her, she didn't realize that she's with her future self, helping her.
I know. This is like nature speaks to us. We like everything has symbolism.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I teach in my classes is like trusting your intuition, and that you will have some kind of intuitive sense that is stronger than other intuitive senses. And you just have to trust, you can get good at the other ones too if you practice, but you just have to start with how does spirit communicate to you? For me, animals, major communication mode for me. Like hawks, all animals. But that was also when I started to really study like the symbolism of animals and totems in our lives. And so now I know that everything is speaking to me. And if I know how to interpret the message, then I'll receive it.
It's undeniable.
Yeah.
We ought to have an animal communicator on here as a guest because animals have like really become like hyper intelligent, or the channels have, I don't know. But now when I have a channel, people who read animals, they are saying stuff that like shock me. I once had a show, just like a little pilot, where she went to a horse. We went to go read a horse. I'm like, okay, of course, But anyways, the horse was like, what's up with this guy and what he's wearing? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? He's criticizing my clothes. Like the horse was, and he was right. And the jokes he made, is making jokes for this medium. And I was like, no way. Like animals are so as present as us. This idea that they're not smart or whatever is not how it is in heaven. They're equal. They're equal in heaven. Like they're equal souls. They have as much intelligence as we do, and they make as many jokes as we do. It's like they're playing a little role, like too. They're like cheap, cheap, cheap. Like they're playing the bird. They're not really a bird, like a tiny little bird like that. And that was my biggest leap. I'd love to have a communicator on here. So we can talk.
Yeah, no, I think that would be freaking amazing.
Be a lot of fun. Yeah. Animals are for me too, but for me, animals is like, it's like every now and then, like an owl, 100%. If an owl hoots, it's for me. Usually I'm the only one outside too. I'm like, I got you. And there's a dog out here that'll bark when I have someone bad coming over or something. Like he's like, bark, 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 and I can kind of tell he's like, he's about to come, like whatever. Like it's literally this kind of like forewarning kind of siren thing. It's interesting how different animals, and they feel like this is their job. That's their job. Their job is to tell you that kind of stuff. So it's fun. I agree. Science come in every form. So I think we have to talk about. We do a commercial. And then you're going to sing for us. And I think when you first come back, though, I'm going to talk to the audience for a second. And then when you're ready.
Okay.
Everyone?
Love it. I'll go
BRB.
get ready.
Hey, BRB.
Scott Cruz is popularly known for his life-changing one-on-one readings to also guide in your soul ascension journey. With life readings, get insight into your relationships, career, health, trauma healings, past life regressions, and more. Want to connect with a loved one who's transitioned? Scott's mediumship session can be the gateway to you and your loved ones in spirit, bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. If you want to enhance your own psychic ability, Scott's Intuition Builder session can help expand your psychic and mediumship abilities. So sign on to scottcruzpm.com to book your own personal session today.
Yeah, Scott Cruz. He's part of our big family here. And he is part of LOL, if you don't know. We are live every Wednesday with LOL, Leading Out Loud. We recently had David Palmer join the crew. We're having a great time talking about the truth. And we're being very forthright about the truth. And speaking of truth, I mean, that's kind of where it's at for us. We as a people, really, hopefully, I mean, what you've come to in the last week is a truth about yourself. I have to say that's probably my biggest leap was letting myself be who exactly I am. And that may sound kindergarten for you. There are people out there who can do that, no problem. Me, I've been trained to make everyone happy for so many lifetimes that I literally don't see myself give myself up for others. And so seeing that authenticity to me was what Aries was about. But we have some take-home kind of questions for y'all. And this is part of what I teach. I have Serious Joy is no longer alive anymore. It's been retired, if you will, that vessel. And I'll be doing private sessions basically at senseichriswoteki.com. And we'll be launching tonight our Taurus Step Talk. So I'm changing the way I do things to be more of a lesson for a week. It's going to be more of a weekly based, daily updates, but weekly based system. And I want to share the audience who's watching at home who may not have the money or time to sign up for this, because you can play along with us. The question for this week that we're going to do is 2 questions. The first question would be, to ask yourself and really meditate on what authentic part of you has come forward. So what authentic part of you has come forward? Ask yourself that question. Give yourself the whole week to answer. You don't have to answer it until next Sunday. And so we're doing a 7-based system here at at the new mothership. In fact, right now, it's StepÚAstrology Now is the vehicle. So StepÚAstrology Now is what we're focusing on. But the most important thing is the now. Everything's about the now. So as of now, what is the most important authentic part of you that has come forward? You want to ask yourself that in the next week. And then when you answer that question, there's a follow-up question that's really important too, which has to do with your value. And that's what we're going into here in Taurus. When we come back after Jai performs, we'll talk about this for the whole week and what's coming this week. But Taurus begins with a value set. And that value set is how much you love yourself. Step 1 is self-love. Step 0 is the line between God and reality. Aries is the ego, the direction that we're going to take. But your self-love, believe it or not, is what sets your value. And we're talking about your self-love in every moment, like your self-love when you go to the potty after this, your self-love when you pour your iced tea. Your self-love, though, inside yourself is the most important. Self-love is an inside job. Nothing you do in reality really will count, honestly, because by the time reality comes, your opportunity is gone. The present is the present. So we actually create reality far in advance. And that's an algorithm that I think we have discovered at senseichriswoteki.com. I think that's one we have found. I've discovered. But the point is that your quantity of self-love is what determines your value. If you spend a lot of time in the day loving yourself, you will find that you attract equal in material world and in respect from others and in respect from animals and everything. So going back to our questions, there's only 2 questions to answer. We'll talk about the answers next week in next week's show. But the question is, what authentic self has come forward? And then secondly, what kind of self-love is that person getting from you? In fact, I put you to the challenge. If you can somehow figure out and tabulate how much self-love you give that new character this week, I'd be interested in knowing how much it was and how much it is. We have a community that we have forming here. We'll talk about it. You can come into our community, by the way. I'm talking about this one right here, I Rise, I Shine with Chris and Jai. We built a community, and this community is where we'll be doing extra work with people. We'll have extra workshops there. We'll have different appearances, some live moments. We're working with the membership as well. And this is all part of a broader kind of group of people who are all coming together to form kind of a network of networks, a bunch of communities, Jai's community, our community, my community. And so in that community, you can answer on the leaderboard if you have these questions. So the question is, where's your authentic self? What authentic self came forward? And how much self-love are you giving that person over the next 7 days every day? I'd be interested to hear from people who've given a lot. I'd like to hear from people who didn't have time to. And we'll talk about the results. So I think if we're ready, I think we are. I'm going to wait for a little sign from heaven or Jai. There she is.
We are ready.
Okay. I'm down now. We'll talk next week.
Thank
Jai.
you. Yeah, thank you. And perfect topic and perfect transition to this song, because this is actually a song. It's like it's a mixture of, it's got partly in English, but then part of it is a mantra. And it's one of the mantras from the Kundalini yoga tradition that talks about courage. And it's the mantra that every one of the gurus, the Sikh gurus, have a mantra. And this is the mantra for Guru Gobind Singh, which actually I'm named after Guru Gobind Singh. It's speaking of animals. This guru was the 10th. Well, there's that, right? They're the 10th Sikh guru. And he rode a horse and had a hawk that walked on his shoulder, hung out with him on his shoulder. So it's just the perfect segue into connecting us to this energy of it, this week being a ceremonial beginning. So this is like an activation to a ceremony, this song, and it leads into the courage mantra. And I hope you guys enjoy it. To the winds of the south, serpiente, activate these coils of light within us. Connect us to our divine grace, to the winds of the west. Rise on a winged jaguar, please walk your shield of protection around this sacred space. To the winds of the north, sweet hummingbird and ancestors, please be with us. To the winds of the east, Gran Águila, Gran Condor, please fly down from your high mountain tops, illuminate our path. Father, Son, Grandmother, Moon, to the star nations, Gran Espíritu, you who are known by 1,000 names. Sweet, sweet, beautiful Mother Earth, we walk to heal ourselves. Chatra Chakra Varadi, Chatra Chakra Bhugute Suyamba, Subang Sarabata Sarabajugute, Kalang Pranasi Diala Sarupe Sada Ange Sange Bangam Bebute Chatra Chakra Vati Chatra Chakra Bhugute Suyamba Subang Sarabata Sarabajugu Kalang Pranasi Dialang Sarupe Sada Ange Sange Abangam Bebute. Chatra Chakra Varadi, Chatra Chakra Bhugute Suyamba, Subang Sarabata Sarabajugute, Andakalang Pranasi Dialang Sarupe Sada Ange Sange Abangam Bebute. Chakravarti, Chatra Chakra Bhugute Suyamba, Subang Sarabata Sarabajugu Dukalang Pranasi Dialang Sarupe Sada Ange Sange Abangam Bebute. Sada Ange Sange Abangam Bebute, Sada Ange Sange Abangam Bebute.
That was amazing. Yay. That was very powerful and soothing and perfect for
Thank
step
you.
29. Yay. We have a quick
I
commercial.
love playing music.
Well, it's clear and you just shine bright too. You shine bright. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about our future predictions for the week. And we're going to bring back our guests from the very beginning of the show. So keep streaming. We'll be right back.
Cool.
Yay! That looks like fun. You're gonna have a lot of fun. You're
Yeah,
coming
so
up with
much
this
fun.
retreat coming up soon. I love retreats, and they are. Um, when you run, is this your first one you've held? You've held them before, surely.
No, this is the third year that I'm doing
Okay,
it, but it's going to
yeah.
be the best year yet.
3 is the best. 3 is when you believe. Like, I say, usually the second year is the hardest for anything. Even in films,
Mhm.
like the sequel's hard because you're worried about being as good as the first one, all this other stuff. 3 is when it's just like all gels. Is like awesome.
It
So
feels
that's gonna
that
be
way.
fun. Yeah, totally.
The energy of it feels that way. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you this. This is our prediction point, and I'm wondering, what does the week ahead feel like for you? If today feels like belief, then what is tomorrow?
Well, in my own personal opinion, or would you like me to share about like the astrology that's coming up, or the
Yeah, your
gates and the
gene key.
keys that are
Yeah,
coming up?
this is
Yeah. Okay.
give me your
Okay.
gene key
Cool.
advice and your own personal as well. I mean, this is where
Yeah.
we scope forward and give people something to prepare for.
Totally. So intuitively, I feel like this coming week is going to be a little bit more grounding. We do have the sun coming into Taurus tonight, so that's
Mhm.
exciting. And we're doing this show
Yay.
at 29 degrees, which is it's intense. It's just
Incredibly.
FYI for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, woo, it's a lot. But I feel like we're going to land into a place of a little bit more grounding where things, I don't think they're going to slow down because the momentum that's going, it's like, I feel like it's going to continue, but at least I think we're going to feel a little bit more anchored because Taurus is fixed earth, right? And it is
Mhm.
that point where we start to take all of the exciting, inspiring, like sparks that were created in Aries season and actually start to materialize them. It's like, how are
Mhm.
you going to make that vision truly come into a reality? So that's what it feels like to me. But with Uranus entering into Gemini, which we'll talk more about next week, I feel like that's going to be another sort of portal, another doorway that we're going to be going through. In terms of the gene keys, the sun is going to be entering into the 27th gene key. And this is an interesting one. It's tribal circuitry, which has a lot to do with my tribe, my unit, my community, which does fit very well with what we're trying to build here. It's kind of cool
Mhm.
that we're officially launching our community when the sun will be in a tribal circuitry type of energy. But the shadow of the gene key that's coming up, it's selfishness.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
gift is altruism, and the city is selflessness.
Hmm.
So it's about working through that, like those pieces of us that want something so much for ourselves, but
Mm.
have to also, the universe is asking us to think a little bit wider, to now like take everything that we've like created, we've initiated, we started, and then how is this going to serve the world? Like, how is this going to serve your tribe? How is this going to be, how are you going to serve your tribe? How are you going to serve your community? In the human design, the lens it's called the gate of caring. So it's so much about like giving and receiving. So I think this week we're transitioning into a place of like, now what can we do with our gifts? What could we truly do to start to both give to the community, but also receive the same kind of like love and, connection and intimacy that we are like deeply wanting for ourselves. So that's, it's an interesting one. It's definitely a strange energy that we're going to suddenly move into this, but it makes sense when you think of what we've come out of, where we're growing, we are, we're changing, we're transmuting, and now how are we going to, sustain what we've built? And that has everything to do with who we're connecting to, who we're talking to. So community is going to be a big theme this coming week.
I love it because we are doing that right now. I would say, and speaking to you in that sense, it's like I find that for myself, I honestly wasn't taking. I didn't have a problem giving. I had a problem receiving. Myself was my biggest problem. But that makes a lot of sense because I'm a lot of 9, and 6 is the opposite of 9. 69. I'm not good at the 6. I'm not good at receiving. I'm more 9 based. So I think I would say for people out there, you might be a 6 or a 9 base. Where you're a giver, giver, giver 9, or taker, taker, taker 6. And neither means to go too far. It's just kind of like you get caught in one pipeline or the other. This is the first, this next week is the first 7 degrees or 7 step numbers of Taurus. Those first 7 step numbers from 0 to 7 is your spiritual, what I call soul capital. And your soul capital is how much energy you already have set up and ready to go to incarnate something fabulous on the planet. Like, so it's the pre-incarnate energy. It is the energy behind the energy. It's the kinetic energy, if you will, that's tied up in an object. And so our spiritual kinetic energy comes down between 0 and 7. And then we judge it on 8 and on 7 and 8. So 8 is like we judge and decide, what do I have here? What do I don't? And this is what I was speaking to earlier, that, this is where your self-worth comes from. Self-worth does not come from anything you achieve in the world at all. You will never feel good, really, or valuable from the world's reaction. It will never be enough. No matter what you do, it will never satisfy the hunger, because it cannot be measured outside of you. Your soul capital can only be measured within you. And it's a feeling you feel, a potential, if you will. It's the potential, the unbridled potential that you bridle in Taurus. That's what happens. You say, okay, let's put a string around this and call it a product. And in the same sense, that's what happens with ourself this week, where we kind of go, I've grown a lot, I've seen a lot, etc. It's a new day. What am I worth to me? What am I worth to me? And this week, the planets kind of go a little wild with that, because, starting tonight, Mars and Aries will conjunct Saturn at 7. Mars and Saturn come together at 7, bong, and this is before Taurus begins. So it's like, basically, and that might be the issue here. I mean, it's like, what do you spiritually feel? Forget what's on the earth. Forget how people treated you. Forget the job you've gotten. All that doesn't matter anymore, and therefore won't be matter. What matters is what you feel on the inside, and what you want to do is honor that, commit to that. When we come back next week, we'll be on the premises of making a commitment to that value, which is why I had those questions this week of like, what's the new you and what's it worth? And then things just start to open. Venus crosses Uranus in Taurus, by the way, on I think it's a Tuesday. Yeah, no, actually, it's coming up here soon. Tuesday, Wednesday, it looks like. And with that said, it's like Venus crossing that Uranus in Taurus. Uranus has been in Taurus since 2017. So Uranus is like multidimensional. So it's like Taurus would be like, oh, I'm just a cow. Whoop, I'm okay. I'm a healthy cow. Whoop, okay, I'm a healthy cow that eats well. It's like every year Uranus forces to be like the foundation of Taurus to move up a notch. So if you notice, it sucked. I call it like being a bull in a rowboat. It's like, we're unhappy. We can barely stand up. And it's because every time we did something, the earth moved again. And that's been
right.
hell.
It felt very unstable. It was destabilizing by nature. It was like the earthquake, not the solidness. Yeah.
For Tauruses, not cool. We are 4-hoof beings. We have to have all 4 feet on the ground. Like we have to be. That's how we hold and maintain and produce for everyone. So we've been on unstable ground. So I'm excited as hell for Uranus and Gemini. I never felt better than when I went Gemini last year. I was like, oh, is this what it'll be like? Oh my God. Because it allows Tauruses to not focus on, because ideas, Gemini's are house of value. So what Taurus's value are ideas. We bring our ideas to life. Second house is Gemini for us. Ideas are what's important. Because why an idea? Because we're the ones that make it a reality. We make ideas real. That's what we do. So ideas, the commodity of ideas. And the thing is like, hey, you got some good ideas now, Taurus? You're at the bottom of the haystack, man. It's going to go only up from here. Like this idea, stupid compared to next year's. And everyone has that with Gemini. I mean, once Gemini hits, we're all going to go, next year will always be a different way of thinking. We've never had this in our lifetime. The last time Uranus was in Gemini was World War II. And that's
right.
That's went from like, what? There's a bad guy named Hitler. What? People are killing people deliberately. What? Like the world was like, what? In a negative way.
Right.
But, karma is opposite. So that means this time it'll all be in a positive way. What? It'll be positive because they always flip like that. Right. So now it'll be like AI, it's just like, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. So it is very exciting. Very exciting. I think I'm excited. So this week's really about holding space. I would say like it's quiet. It is grounded. This is the one time of year where we can eat something and it's good. Like where the sun is like, eat, have sex and sleep. That's the Taurus mantra. Like that's what they like to do. Like, but that's getting into your body, seeing what gives you pleasure and what doesn't, because the pleasure is the right vibration, the non-pleasure is the not, and holding space. Venus will go into Gemini come the end of the week around Friday. So we're going to feel like our heart light up at the end of the week and just like start to get excited about ideas. It will start to come out of our normal body. And I think for the most part, people have been valuing themselves on a low level. They've been allowing themselves to be evaluated by the outer world. You have to be the one that prices yourself. You set the price and then the customer comes. It's not the opposite around. Don't look at the customer for the price. Because if you want any kind of a raise, you're always looking at your old customer, right? So or a range of people who can't afford this, but people who can afford this do this. But the point is, evaluate yourself. What are you worth to you? And start to hold that vibration until our next show.
Love that.
Thank you.
Should we bring in our guest?
Yes, we should.
Yes. So
Okay,
let's bring in Alicia. I want to talk to her.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Alicia.
Hey.
Hello.
How's
How are
it
you
going?
doing?
It's going great.
What was I doing? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to follow the feed.
Oh, you got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching it too. It's good. It will look good. Everything's coming
Hey,
across.
you guys are great. I love the talk.
Thank you. I loved
Thanks.
your talk too.
Thanks.
The breath work is so important. How did you actually? I've known you for a little while. Mostly cyber. Everyone's cyber. Like we haven't had to hang out that
Right.
much.
Texas.
But like you seem to be. But we never met in Texas. You moved to you moved to another state for that. But yeah, it's crazy. It's very global already, which is cool.
Right.
But you are like a jack of all, master of none kind of. You have your own assembly of like disciplines and things that you like from every kind of way of life. Like, how did you give yourself the freedom to be the one who can make that choice? Because I think a lot of people feel like they have to stick within certain rules and paint between the lines.
And I've been there.
So how'd you break free?
So like, trial and error, trusting yourself, talking to you, saying, where am I at on my chart?
Yeah, seeing your signs.
Yeah. And just as you know, I'm very intuitive myself. Before it was like, it's not time. And as I progressed and grew, I was like, I'm getting closer. And I think you said yesterday, you're like, it's time. And I have felt that. I have felt that in my body. I feel it in my soul. So I'm like, it's time. I just think anything in extreme is not good. We're here to experience a lot of different things in life. And when we confine ourselves, I think we really limit our potential.
Yes. And so I feel like everything is, we live in a holistic world. Everything is yes and no. And the idea that anything would be no, it just doesn't make sense. There's always a little bit of it. I think as light workers, we have a hard time dealing with the shadow that way. That that shadow is a good thing in the sense that you become friends with your shadow. When I first started out in my work, it's like, no, shadow, boo, hiss, evil. But now it's like you come full circle, you look at your own shadows, you integrate them. It's about integration, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you have to understand where that limiting belief is coming from.
Some sleuthing. And usually a parent.
Yeah, a parent or a mindset, generational trauma, whatever. I mean, how far back you want to go? Past lives, who knows?
Yeah, and you're Pisces rising, so you got Pluto in your 12th now. Have you seen like some sort of like cosmic door open up in your brain?
Yeah. Like when you touched on the creativity, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. It's like explosive. I have to say, okay, I need a minute to like gather everything. Hold on.
Yeah, I've been definitely going through that. That experience too, especially this week. It's very liberating. It's like, oh, thank God, finally, because I have felt, for the last few, months that it's been so focused, such focus that it's like, and things have been very kind of defined, but I think now they're finally like, there's like a loosening up of the energy, and it's like, it feels freeing. And then it's like, okay, where do we want to take this from here? So, yeah.
Fog is lifting.
It does feel freeing, but I've been burned so much. I'm like, do I step out?
Yes.
And there's like that kind of like hurt muscle, like after it's been sprained or something, you're like afraid to move it. There's a little bit of that I found, but I do find that once I'm like one step, and I mean that in my language and in the world, it's like one step in the right direction. It's clear it's the right direction. I've never been so certain with each step than I am now. Just or lack of questioning.
But trusting yourself too.
Yes.
Yeah, like the ability to really trust yourself, not second guess yourself and be like, oh, I don't know. And I think that takes time.
It's a feeling. I think we were. Yes, we were told to look for a thought or an idea or some sort of a grade, like a judgment. You feel it's going to be okay, and that's it. You only feel.
Yeah, like in your bones, you feel it.
Yes.
Like I was talking to a girlfriend of mine the other day who's also very intuitive, and I said, it's time. I said to her, I feel it in my bones, and I've never felt that.
What you, Jai? What are you feeling? Your head?
No, I actually, I agree with you guys that there's a certainty. And that's what I was saying about earlier. Like, I just kind of feel like I'm I feel so much more in my power. And it's the decisions that I'm making. It's the way that I'm like responding to things. Like there's not that much reacting to things anymore. I'm really I'm like watching myself and I'm like, wow, I'm doing really good. You know, like it just feels grounding. So yeah, that sensation of in my bones, like I know that this is right. I feel that too.
Yeah, it's like a flow.
Yeah, the hard part, if anyone would call it hard, sticky part, has been people who disagree.
Yeah.
And they used to have like, space at my round table. I used to listen to everybody and take everything in consideration. But now, and I still do, but like I've realized like I don't need to hear very much to know I'm correct. And so I've been having a hard time finessing that because some people want to be heard more, and I'm like, it's like I've heard you. I've taken it into consideration. Like there's this letting go and letting each other trust, trusting each person on their own path. I think is part of this too. And not just trusting myself, but like, I'm gonna trust this person. I can't go babysit, watch, hover over, hover parent. I've got to just sit back and do me and count on that's going to happen on its own. So I think we're disconnecting from those who we have adopted.
Yeah, cutting the codependency chain.
Well, yes. And even sometimes healthy. I mean, I have a couple of healthy relationships where like, okay, well, I'm going to go off now. Like, what? Like, what do you mean? See you later. I got to paths go a different way. Like nothing was wrong. Sometimes there was something manufactured to be like an overly, I think people create like a little thing and it turns into a huge drama. Like they overreact to the situation more than they ever have before. You're like, what is wrong? But I see now it's like spirit just needs like an excuse sometimes to jump. And so I'm seeing a lot of like false red flags in relationships. It's not really that. I mean, like to heaven, they'll be like, oh, I know. Like I think it's not gonna be an issue, but here it's like it's an issue. And so therefore, it's like, okay, like, let's just go, So I think there's also that too, where I'm seeing some things being appear more dramatic than they really are. I think it's part of its role play too, where if you're a teacher, you're a person who lives by example. You have to. I find myself having to role play, even though my mind's over it. I'm like, go ahead and carry it out in the world because it's like people are watching, and so I feel like, okay, let's teach the story, even though I'm already ready for the next film. Like myself personally, if that makes sense. Like following through with due diligence to what I agreed to as far as being a role model.
Yeah, because you still have to meet people where they're at.
Meet me where the story's at. I tend to want to jump ahead in time,
right,
and not finish the end because I'm already at the next place. And now it's just like, no, finish your play. like having the patience to finish it off. And even that one person was like this at the very end. You're like, we'll see you soon. Next grade.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Having the patience.
Yeah, the old man would have been like, no, let me tell you why I'm right. Kind of thing. And I was like, hey, what you want to think? Off we go. There's that too. But it's definitely the end. I mean, I feel this huge. I don't know. It feels like psychically, if I feel it out, it's like we're going to sort of fall down a cliff this next 24 hours. Like not a cliff, but just off of a ledge. I think we've been on the ledge for a long time. And I feel like energetically, it feels like it becomes spring. Like this first week is just like, what happened? And then next week, it feels like, oh my gosh, we're in like spring, kind of a spring. And I feel it's going to be spring-like, I think, energetically looking at the planets. Like the hills are alive kind of soundtrack, probably until mid-Gemini, like probably June, second week in June. That's when things start to become, the music starts to change. Dun, 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 and just to build up in that regard. I mean, what do you pick up with your third eyes?
What's coming?
Like, what do you see in your third eye? Like third eye view, yeah.
Do you want me to go?
Either of you ladies, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So for me, I love that. I love that visual that you just gave us, Chris. And it feels like it's going to continue to me personally, because it really does depend on where you're at. That's like the hardcore truth. It's like where the level that you're at right now, where you're standing, like where you're coming from, was going to matter so much to how you're going to experience it and where it's going to take you. For me personally, I feel like it's going to continue to build, because that's what I'm expecting. Like that's where I'm at in my life, and I'm like, everything that I'm feeling and everything that I'm like bringing into how I'm doing things is literally going to like keep expanding. Yes. I wish and I hope that it continues to be that way for the whole, all of humanity. But I understand that we're not all in that place. So I think we're going to go all at our own pace. And I think things are going to start moving a little bit more steadily. Like it's been very kind of wild right now up until today, literally today. And then starting tonight, it's like, okay, like let's make sure we have enough gas for the road ahead. Let's, did you fill up the tank? Like just the little details. I think we're going to be focusing a little more on making sure everything is working in alignment. And that's up to us. Like where it goes, I feel is very much going to be up to how much focus we're putting into it and how much attention we're bringing to it. And that's how it'll go. So I don't know. I guess I'm feeling like we're gonna start to see what we're manifesting. You know what I mean?
Right.
What about you, Alicia?
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you, and I agree it's different for everybody. I feel like there's been so much baggage that we've all been carrying, where now we're purging that. And like, even for me, it's been like, okay, this part has to go, this part has to go, where it feels like a part of your soul is going away, but you can't take that luggage with you. The fire horse energy is going to keep going, but I think what's crucial is that you are living in your authentic truth. And I think that's what the energy of this Aries season has brought, why it's been so intense, because people are being forced with, is this my truth or is this someone else's truth? Like, what is truly my truth? And so we have to fully live in that and embrace it and not feel guilty because someone else disagrees with us. Like what you said, like, this is me and this is where I'm going, take it or leave it, because I'm not stopping.
Well said. Yeah, you live your authentic self would be the case. I mean, and in some cases for me, it's like value, because we're the first week of Taurus, giving that a value. You name the price. You say how valuable it is to you is how valuable it is to the world. The problem is that you're not attracting people now based on that value. So you can't look at the world as your economy or as your proof of investment. You have to first value yourself, give it life a minute to reset. You'll draw on that person that values you on the same level. Have the patience. That's the zeros in the Taurus. We're slow for a reason. It happens that slow.
And I think you have to embrace your value. You truly have to embody it. You said one thing to me one time when we met, and it was, you have to know you're worth it.
Yes. You have to know it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a feeling, and knowing is a feeling, step 23. So you feel it and you believe it both. It's that you feel it and you believe in that feeling. And that feeling, there's a belief there, a natural. Well, Alicia, how can we get in touch with you or stay in touch with you? You've been a blessing. I know you'll be back to see us.
Oh, thank you. You are a blessing.
Oh, thank you. It's so nice to have you here, and people get to know you. So if you have something for contact, give it to us. We'll put it up there at the end. But we have a song here for Jai, and Jai's going to close out the show with a little bit of song. And you let Morgan know, and he'll put it up too. And we'll see you all in 1 week. This is our final goodbye with this wonderful song.
Bye.
Thank you, Jai.
Thank you, Jai, for your beautiful song.
No, you're welcome. And thank you for being a guest on our show. And I'm very excited to share this last song for today that will close out the show. And it kind of follows with the theme of the first song that I sang, which is like the opening, the opening of a ceremony. It's calling in the 4 directions and it's stepping into courage. And since we are at 29 degrees of Aries right now, this next song is actually it's called a peyote chant or a peyote song that I learned when I was helping to lead these Native American teepee ceremonies, peyote ceremonies. And it's a chant that you normally sing with the drum, but I loved it so much. One day it came to me as a song played on the guitar. And the energy of the song is very much to me feels like the horse. So horse medicine is what this is bringing us, because we're getting ready to literally keep riding our fire horse this year into the future and into what comes next. So hope you enjoy it. Yana hayueno heyana witsita wiko anayo. Yana yo no he yana witsito mina ho ina he ne yo yana yo no he yana witsita we ko na yo yana yo no he yana witsi domina o ina he ne yo Hey Anna, witsi that we go na yo. Anna you no hey Anna, witsi that we go na yo. Anna you no hey Anna, witsi that we go. That we go, Manayo. Yanayo no hey Anna, hey ne, yana hey Anna, yo. domina, oh ina,
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Reach out, touch what was once just in your imagination.
Rise, because you're done.